Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about does it. If you'll notice behind me, we have my 1979 Firebird. This has been a project on the channel for a while. Originally, it was the small block 350 that I paid $250 for, and a 4L80E. I put a lot of money into the previous rendition of this build. I have now officially spent more on bolts for this engine than I did on the entire engine the last time around. Obviously, as you saw in the last few clips, we built up the engine, we bolted the frame in. Obviously, now the engine is in the car. We've made a ton of progress, and I know it's been months since I've uploaded. I wanted to give sort of a formal apology for that. I've been very busy with work and school, among other things, so kind of happy to be back. Really glad to be making content again. I'm hoping to do this once a week or so. Planning for every Wednesday, so probably gonna alternate videos on what I'm working on. I got into a bad habit of working on the same thing for 4 or 5 videos in a row. I know that can become a little repetitive, so stay tuned for that change. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. That brings me to my next point. Thank you all for 2,500 subscribers. We're actually a bit over, getting closer to 2,600, so thank you truly for the support. So after a couple of minutes of kind of random cinematics, I filmed very infrequently while building this, but I wanted to make sure I got a few clips. You guys saw I went fully into the engine, and that was not my initial intention. So for those of you that don't know, this is a 2004 or 2005. They're the same thing, it doesn't matter. But it's a late model 6-liter LQ4, so it's a LS technically. It has 243 heads. These have the dual springs. It came factory with dual springs. I believe these came off a Corvette, but I upgraded them with the BTR dual spring kit. I have a BTR bald eagle cam, titanium retainers, keepers, new valve seals, resurfaced the heads, so those are mint. As you can see, obviously the fast LSXRT 102 intake. It is ridiculously tall. It is the highest performing aftermarket intake you can buy for an LS as far as I'm aware, if you don't include forced induction. So that's pretty kick-ass. Obviously, I pulled the entire rotating assembly apart, checked all my measurements, checked all the bearings, everything's good, everything is retorqued, did all new cam bearings, cleaned, decarboned, de-oiled the pistons, put new Hastings plasma moly, chromoly, they call it some sort of moly, piston ring, gap to spec, all new gaskets. As you can see, we got the low profile F-body oil pan under there, got a Melling high volume oil pump. Obviously, like I said, every gasket and every sensor has been or is being replaced. We got it back in the car with a T56 out of a 2000-ish Camaro. Got the old T56 there. I'm gonna finish rebuilding that and sell it. This one was just much easier to work with. And of course, connecting the engine to the trans, we used some Hooker Blackheart / Holley branded LS swap mounts. So poly there, energy suspension poly body bushing. So rather than the old rubber ones I used to have, those are poly, engine mounts are poly, and a McLeod RST twin disc clutch, good for about 850 wheel. So that's kind of the gist of it. All the bolts in the engine are ARP. Obviously you saw my fancy new torque wrench. I picked up the Icon one. I love it, well worth it. But yeah, all ARP bolts. Obviously everything's torqued. Now I still have to pick up some new rockers and things like that, a bunch of little stuff, but I'm so glad to finally have this car back on the ground. Next video is going to be kind of actually a pretty cool one. I'm going to talk about LS swaps in particular, the cost associated with them. Can you still do them cheap? So make sure you check that out. That'll be the next video 1 week from today, Wednesday, hopefully around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Otherwise, the next actual video of working on a car, we're not going to work on this. It'll be the Fox body. You'll notice I have a turbo motorcycle now. It blew out a turbo seal, but we have this as well, so that'll be a video in the coming weeks. I want to thank you guys again for the support. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. I cannot wait to keep uploading content. Like I said, once a week, every Wednesday at 4. That's the plan, and I'm holding myself to it. So make sure you stay tuned. The Firebird's going to be hitting the road sooner than you know it. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.